Hello everybody! Happy Art Day! Thank you so much for joining me. Today we're going to talk about printing, specifically block printing. And we're going to learn how to make our own block print from the stuff we have around the house. So today we're going to need some paint. I'm going to be using the primary colors, so our yellow, red, and blue. A paintbrush. Maybe some water, some paper towels so we can wipe off that brush, and some paper, pen or pencil, and either some cardboard or paper plates. So block printing is a really simple form of printmaking where you cut out your image. So I can show you an example. So here is a linoleum block, and I cut out all the areas that I want it to stay white. So then when I printed it, there you go, we got some trees. Or here's another example where I actually used a piece of really hard cardboard, and again I cut out all the areas where I want it to stay white, and I got a self-portrait. If we're using words, we got to remember to write backwards, just so you know, so it comes out the right way, okay? So traditionally, we would use like a lino block or a piece of wood and cut into it with some really sharp tools, and then have special ink and a roller to put the ink on, and then have this burnishing tool. But we don't need all that to make a block print at home. We can do it with stuff we have around the house. Are you excited? I am. Okay, before we start, let's do a little breathing and a little bit of stretch so we can be focused and we're ready to go, okay? So everybody with me, breathe in and let it go. Let's breathe in one more time and let it go. Now let's stretch out our fingers. Oh, it feels nice. Roll our shoulders back. Let's roll forward. Okay. Are you feeling focused and ready to go? Good. So we're going to start with our piece of cardboard. I cut it down to a smaller size so you guys could see me do it and not take up all your time. But I'll also show you how to do it on the plate. It's exactly the same thing. And not all cardboard is created equal. I'll show you. So my favorite thing actually to use is Styrofoam, but it's not good for the planet. So, and we can't really find it in Seattle anyway. But you just need something where you're making a mark that it's going to be indented. So I can show you an example of what I did. This is a little drawing I did with pen. And this is how it looked when I printed it. So you can see all the areas where I drew was white. It's also, the more times you print it, it kind of gets wet and it loses its definition. So it's maybe not as strong as a mark. And then on the plate, this one got wet a little bit faster than the regular cardboard, but the first couple prints looked really nice. And this was just your typical cheap paper plate that was really thin. And then I got this thicker one, which is compostable, so it had a little bit of a texture to it. And as you can see, the texture shows up. but you can still get the marks. So it really just depends what you're going for. You could always, if you have paper plates and cardboard and styrofoam, you could do it with all of them and see what works best for you. And then the last example I was going to show you, if your cardboard is too bumpy, then that shows through. It doesn't look bad. It's just maybe your image that you drew on there is not going to be as strong. So it's up to you. So again, if you have all these things in your house, if you have paper plates and thick paper plates and some styrofoam and some cardboard, you can play with all of them. So we're going to start with the cardboard. I think this one's a better piece. It's less bumpy. So see if you can find a flat area. You could have a really big piece of cardboard on the floor that you just draw on, because we're going to put the paint on top and then press the paper down. And this is really tiny, so hopefully you can see it. I'm going to use a pen just so you can see the image a little bit better. But you can use a pencil too. And don't worry if you poke a hole in it. It's not going to be that big of a deal. It'll just kind of look like a circle. So today's a really nice sunny day. So I think I'm going to do a sunshine with some flowers, because flowers always make me happy. I've already poked a hole in it, see? But I'm not stressing about it. Now also, if you have like a thicker pencil, you're going to have thicker white lines on your image when you're done. So as you can see, I'm going over my lines a couple times just so I can make sure that they're really indented. So if I run my finger over it, I can feel the bumps. Here's a little sunshine. I'm going to put my lines, the rays going all the way to the edge here, because I like when, for my composition, I love it when it touches the at least 3 edges. But you know, it's your artwork, so it should look like your artwork. If you want to have something right in the center, like a stamp, then go for it. There's no wrong or right way to do this. It's just whatever makes you happy. We're just learning different ways that we can make art. Do some hearts here. And again, I can use my pen and fill in this whole area, because then it'll be one big indent. And that will show up as white when I do my print. Do a flower. Yeah, I'm poking lots of holes in it today. And let's see, maybe we'll do some squiggly marks over here. If you don't want to draw anything in particular, you could just make a bunch of different marks. That will look really cool too. Okay, so here's my little drawing I have for my homemade block print. And I can feel it. And it feels like at least most of the lines are going all the way through. I'm going to get out my primary colors. Now our primary colors are red, yellow, and blue. And with those 3 colors, you can make all the colors in the whole world. Isn't that cool? So I think I'll use all 3 of them, and it'll be like a rainbow. Using my popsicle stick just to get out some of the color here so I don't get these colors in their containers dirty. And I didn't realize that these were all stuck together when I bought it. But I guess then I don't have to lose any of the colors. So I have my primary colors right there. And I have my block, which I've done my drawing on. Now, you just want to coat the whole thing really good. You don't want to get too much paint in it, because you don't want the paint to go all in the lines. So 1 solid coat should be good. And then if you have a lot of texture, in your brush strokes, then that's going to show up too. So it's just up to you if you want it to be super smooth or really textured. So I'm doing a little bit of yellow here. I'm going to use my water so I don't mess up my colors. And if you use your water on your brush in between putting on the paint, be sure to dry off the brush pretty good because you don't want to get your cardboard all soaking wet. Okay, we got some blue. Now, if I was at home, I would just be doing this flat, but the first one I'm going to do upright like this so you can see what I'm doing, and then the next one I'll do on the table because that's, I mean, how you should be doing it anyway. It'd be a lot easier. This is just, well, so you can see what I'm doing. I'm just putting the paint right on that cardboard. Get a little bit more yellow. There we go. I got my primary colors on there. And when they're mixing together, we're getting our secondary colors, which is our orange, our purple, and our green. So now that I have, whoop, 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 now that I have this all painted, I'm just going to put a piece of paper down right on top. Now we're going to use our hands like it's the burnishing tool. So you could just take your fist and rub it around on top in a nice circular motion. There we go. Let's see how this looks. Ba-ba! Well, you can't see my lines as good, so I'm going to try this again on the table and see if that looks better. I might just have to go over it again with my pen to make sure the lines are deep. Okay. So, again, I'm going to do my yellow. And again, you can use whatever color you want. I just really love the primary colors because then when they mix together, instead of making brown, it makes another color, which is always really exciting. My red. And then I'll do a little bit of blue on the bottom. Okay. So I got my block all painted on, and ready to print. I'm just going to go ahead and use the same piece of paper so I'm not wasting anything. Push it down right there. And then we're using our hands like that burnishing tool. And just rub it around real good. Let's see how this one turns out. Oh, that one looks much better. Look at that. So you can see all the places where I drew with my pen is white. Maybe we'll try to squeeze one more in right here. And then we'll move on to doing the plate. And it's okay if it overlaps. You can do whatever you want. This is just, you know, a little fun exercise to learn about printmaking and all the different things we can do. What I like about it is if you have a drawing that you really, really like, then you can draw it on a piece of cardboard or on your plate, and you can reprint it over and over and over again. So you see, here it is again. And no two prints are going to be the same. They're all going to be a little bit different depending on how you put on your paint and how the paint goes in the lines. Okay. So let's try the plate now. Now for this, I found it was easier to draw when you had the whole stack of plates under it, because when I was trying to draw just like this, it was just going down, which you could still do, but it just makes it a little bit easier to have the plates under it so you have a hard surface. So again, I think for this one, I'll do a radial composition since it's a circle, and that means that it starts from the center and goes out, like a sunshine or a flower. Those are things that have natural radial compositions. So I'm gonna do a really big flower on here. Again, we're just making sure we're pressing down nice and hard so you get that indent when you're drawing. I'm gonna draw my petals. And you can draw whatever you want. I also noticed that the heaviness of my lines aren't the same. Maybe my hand gets tired as I draw, so each line looks a little bit different when I print it. But that's okay. We're people, not machines, huh? I have a flower. I'm going to put a couple more things in here because this is not very exciting to me right now. So maybe I'm going to give the center a little bit of texture. And I can feel that texture there. I can feel the indents. So I think this will be a good mark. And I think I'll put some stuff in between the petals. And then maybe I'll put something right at the end of each tip of each petal. There we go. I have a radial composition. It's all coming out from the center. So next, I'm gonna use my primary colors again and put some paint on here. Let's see, I think I'll keep these under this so I have a nice hard surface to press down onto. So I'm getting the extra water off my paintbrush so it's not too wet and making that cardboard get mushy and lose its the definition of the lines. Okay, so this is how I painted my block print. Now I'm going to take my piece of paper and put it right in the center here and use my fist to smooth the paper down on my plate. Now sometimes the paper gets wrinkly since the plate goes in and you're rubbing down and you might wrinkle your paper, but it's okay. It's not a 100% hard surface. If it was hard, you wouldn't have that problem. So, ooh, that looks really nice, huh? Now you can see I had more paint on the outside, so it's a little bit darker. But I actually really like this center part because it's kind of brushy. You can see the brush strokes but still get the color. Isn't that nice? We'll do one more and we'll try to get it all the way even with the paint application. Again, I just like to use the popsicle sticks, or this is washable, so you could use a knife too if it's okay with the adult in your house. Just so I don't mess up the individual colors here. Because it would be terrible if I really wanted red paint and I had put the yellow in there and then I had orange paint, no more red paint. And I would say try to paint it pretty quickly, just because the tempera paint, the washable paint, it dries really quick, and if it's dry you're not going to be able to get the image on there. Got the red all on the outside and I'm kind of blending it again so it goes from red to orange to yellow, because I'm mixing the primary colors of the yellow and the red together to get that middle color. And I'm just using regular computer paper. which I think works really well for this because it's nice and thin. Okay, and I'm going to use my fist and rub around in circles. You can rub out too, so you don't wrinkle your paper. There we go. And once you feel like you covered the whole surface with your hand, we'll peel it back slowly. And there we go. We got our nice radial composition with our flowers and the little hearts. So that's the two ways you can make your own block prints from home, either using paper plates or our cardboard. And you could always do both and see which one you like the best, you know? I thought that was really fun. I hope you did too. If you have any questions, you can leave a comment underneath the video. I always love to see your creations, so please tag me on Instagram or send me your pictures in snail mail, and then we can look at them together next week. If you guys like the video, please share and like and subscribe. It really makes a big difference and helps me keep creating these art classes for you. Well, thank you so much for joining me today and making art with me. I'll see you guys next week, okay?